Hi, my name's Matt Worcester. Today I'm going to be doing a video presentation over Terrible Tuesday, the 1979 Wichita tornado outbreak that happened on April 10th, 1979. This was a very, very bad tornado that happened. I had family that lived in that area at this time, and I remember when this had happened. I was probably about 7 or 8 years old at this time. But the weather condition that caused this massive tornado was a deepening low pressure system that formed in Colorado as a warm front lifted north, pulling warm, moist, unstable air. There was a strong upper level dynamics that had them all coming together to produce strong tornado producing supercells. In the early afternoon hours, there was like 3 supercell thunderstorms that formed. They moved northeastward, and as a trio spawned families of tornadoes. So there was a bunch of tornadoes that just happened throughout this region. These supercells, they caused like the most damaging tornadoes of the outbreak. As you can see, this was like original footage of that tornado, Wichita Falls, Texas, and on that April 10th, 1979 day. It was a devastating, and I couldn't imagine with this coming straight toward that town, and it was just coming. It was going to plow through and flatten a lot of that territory. Yeah, it's a very scary sight right there. As you can see, this was kind of the path of the tornado. There was 13 tornadoes that actually touched down in the Red River Valley tornado outbreak. There was the Crowell tornado, the Vernon tornado, the Hollister tornado, the Farron tornado, the Lawton tornado, Granville tornado, Marlowe 2 tornado, and Purcell west of Hugo Wind tornado, the Noble tornado, the Prague tornado, and Seymour tornado, Wichita Falls tornado, and the Pruitt tornado. It kind of shows you like one through, kind of pull it back there a little bit, 1 through 13. It kind of shows you the areas of how it moved along, the particular areas of 1 through 6 there, and there's 12 and 13 down here, 8 and 9 up here, and it kind of gives you an area of how that those tornadoes moved along during that time. This particular map, it kind of gives you the approximate damage path in these areas. As you can see, they have the Wichita scale of tornado incident. At that time, they only had the Wichita scale, not the enhanced scale, which listed it from F0 to F5. And I'm showing on this scale, it lists 1 through 10, the areas of starting at McNeil Junior High and ending up in Winston Wells there, number 10. But it kind of shows you in the path there of it being starting at a F1, and then it goes in between an F3 and F4, and then it goes to a stronger F4, and then to a strong F4 in that area. But in the Wichita scale, it only has it going up to that particular time, only has it going to a F4. If it was on the enhanced Wichita scale today, it would have been an F5, because that is anything above 200 miles an hour. But this kind of shows you the destruction path that it took, and it would shift from F1, F2 to F4 in that category, and the colors kind of show you the guidelines of where it was at and what actually happened. For some more specifics on the area of that particular tornado, it kind of tells us there, as you can see, there was the F0, which was south of Crosbyton, and F0 east of Plainview that hit, and then there was a F2 that was southwest of Ford, Texas. In that particular one, there were homes uprooted and barns were destroyed. And then the southeast of Rayland, Texas, there was one that hit down. There was 11 deaths in that particular one, and this tornadoes crossed into Oklahoma, destroying 3 homes, damaging 5 others. And then there's one the southeast of Thalia that hit, and these are ranging from F0 to F4, as you can see on the sliding scale here in color. And then the Herald, Texan, there was 1 death, and then there was one north of Hollister these 3 houses were destroyed and several others damaged, and then it went on to north of Faxon, northeast of Seymour, the Lawton area, which had 3 deaths, and then southwest of Iowa Park. And then it went on to the southwest of Wichita Falls, which was a major area, which there was 42 deaths in that area, and that was a F4 at that time. And then it moved on again to Wichita Falls area as a F1. Then south of Noble, F2, there was 2 barns damaged. Then it went to Bellamont as a F2, and F2 south of Noble, and F1 in the Hayes area, F3 west of Pruitt, F9 west of Oakland, and F2 southwest of Novice, and it ended up in Mineral Wells as a F1. And that was kind of the area of that it kind of went along in that path. This photo kind of gives you a kind of look at the destruction that happened in the Wichita Falls area. There was major catastrophic destruction there. And then this kind of gives you a picture of some damage to some vehicles and trees and debris that was gathered around there. And this kind of shows you some police officers working the scene and trying to clear out some debris. I imagine they're looking for lost people and things like that during that time also. There's one particular person, Joel Main. He had a story that talked about. He was talking about how the tornado was over the Army, and it was wiping out brand new cart lots that he saw. He said it burned in his memory, and he didn't know if it was explosives from the Army or lightning. And he said it was a light show out there. He said his girlfriend and her sister were killed in the tornado, and they were crushed by the wall that they took shelter against. And he said many people were killed in their cars. They tried to flee, even some who just parked under an overpass. He said, "I was just lucky." That was Joel Main on April 10th, 1979. Here's another photo of the local paper there in Wichita Falls, in Dallas. It was talking about there's 49 dead, hundreds more hurt. Storm total may rise to 100. Few landmarks, escape winds, random fury, and emergency assistance provided for Wichita Falls storm victim. That was the headlines there in the news. Another person, Lee Anderson, he was on the regional staff at the Times Record News. He said it was a terrible Tuesday. He said for me it was a typical work day. He said he left the office maybe at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he never thought there was a possibility for a tornado, not even weather or even rain. And as he was going home, he called. He decided to nap as he does, and he said famed farm editor Joe Brown called him and asked him to want to go to fatality on US 287 between Harold and Oakland Union, which is east of Vernon. He said we also see this 18-wheeler in a car on the side of 287 heading in the direction of Vernon. They both pulled over to the side of the road because they could see a tornado coming. Anderson said the man and woman from the car had hid underneath the 18-wheeler, and storm picked it up and slammed it back down. Unfortunately, this lady was crushed by the wheels. She was deceased when I got there, Anderson said. That was a very catastrophic event right there to see. The Wichita Falls tornado caused over $400 million worth of damage. As of today, it's ranked as the 10th costliest. 45 people died in the Wichita Falls tornado. As deadly as the Wichita Falls tornado was, it could have been much worse, and if it had not been for the aid of storm spotters in the field reporting the tornado. Wichita Falls Mayor Kenneth Hill stated power had been restored to about 50% of the city's 100,000 residents. Water pressure was still too low to fight fires from the city's hydrants. Hill said the death count remains at 42, but he said it still could rise to 100. No more bodies had been found by late this morning, he added. As many as 8,000 residents were left homeless, the mayor estimated. He said that there was no estimate yet as to how many were missing. Hundreds of persons were injured. Power and water in all the cities were knocked out for 24 hours. And that is my presentation on the Wichita Falls tornado.